Health headlines today keep common sense away. It's Rhyme and Reason 884.
Here's your rhyme and reason. Oh, yeah.
Hey there, Tony here. Yeah, I am actually here. It's been a long time, but I am actually here. And I'm able to do this in a way that isn't totally displeasing to my own ears. I'll explain that in just a minute. But first, I want to kind of explain that I'm also no longer in the shadow of Pikes Peak, like I've said on many episodes before, and I'm not even close to the Emerald Coast like I was for about a year, and maybe a little over that. Nope, right now I'm in the heart of the heartland, and I got to say, it's pretty nice. I really like the heartland of America, and being in the heart of the heartland gives you some indication of where I am. So, can't see Pikes Peak from here, and you can't see the ocean from here, but you can see some mighty nice people, and they're all around. And I'm glad to be here. Anyway, there was a lot of moving around in the past year and a half to kind of alleviate some health concerns. I've mentioned them before on here that I've been dealing with for now, as of this January, 6 years. I've been dealing with this respiratory issue. And it's not any fun, I got to tell you that. But I do feel like I'm kind of making some headway in our choice now, where we are. So hopefully I'm not imagining things or just wanting it to be that way and, trying to have a positive mindset to make it true, and it isn't, but I think it is true. And I think that ties in nicely with the health headlines that I mentioned at the beginning. Now, they're not scary when you use even a little of the wisdom and discernment your Creator is willing to give you, but if you read those headlines without wisdom and discernment, it's like they're actually full-blown facts. You might start believing it. You might start feeling like calling up the suicide hotline. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because the vast majority of news sources would prefer that you just, stay locked down inside your house and in front of your computer or your TV with fear in your heart. Now, of course, I could just be a conspiracy nut, yeah, I guess. And in that case, you can just skip the rest of all this raving rant, and that'd give you plenty of time, more time for the fear news. But before you really jump out, check out these health headlines. This is from January of 2024. These are some that I took out of headlines out of news, health news online, right off the internet, so it's got to be true. Anyway, FDA probes side effects of weight loss drugs. Here's another one. Possible Ozempic side effects, including hair loss and suicidal thoughts, probed by FDA. Here's another one. FDA examining side effect reports with Lilly, Novo, about obesity drugs. And here's another one. Highly contagious measles exposures in Philadelphia announced in unvaccinated residents. Notice how they didn't say they were in vaccinated residents, so only unvaccinated people are going to get the measles according to that. Anyway, here's another headline. Flu misery. COVID on the rise due to lack of vaccination. Yeah, that's what caused it. Here's another one. Take prevention seriously. SC urges caution as respiratory illness remains high. See, that's one that should put some fear in my heart. I'm not going to let it. And here's another one. SC flu cases, COVID-19. By the way, I guess the SC in this case, I don't know. I think that was South Carolina. That's maybe where I found all this. Anyway, COVID-19 hospitalizations are on the rise following the holiday season. Well, of course they are, because COVID-19 is found in just about every kind of cake and candy that you can imagine that's came from Christmas. That's where it is. You just know it is. And then the final headline, as flu cases spike, local hospital adjusts visiting policies. Well, of course, you can't have people coming in and getting sick with hanging around with sick people. No, we can't do that. You got to, adjust those policies. So for 50 years, I've been writing about this and talking about how this kind of world could and would happen. Yes, I started writing about this 50, well, actually probably a little over 50 years ago. And at first, it was just some innocuous laws. And I put quotes around the laws, the word laws, because humans can't make laws, but that's another thing. And policies, there were innocuous policies to simply provide protection from accidents. Helmets for motorcycles, seatbelts for cars. I'm not against those, by the way, but the laws? No, I'm not for those. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with some decades-long timetable because all that data probably wouldn't change one mind out of 10. Probably wouldn't turn one person's heart out of 10 toward their maker. Yeah, the stats kind of bear me out on that. But I can tell you, the news isn't likely to get better anytime soon. And that includes the health headlines and the business headlines and political headlines. So here's what I recommend, that you just at least scan the headlines and bullet points on major news sites. And then don't be surprised when you see how similar, almost eerily similar, they are to each other. It all reminds me of the lyrics I wrote over 25 years ago in a song called Cliché. And here's that song for you now.
You want the answers to all of your questions, and you want the world in the palm of your hand. You want to rise up and conquer. Let all the world know just where you stand. You want to live in a fat-free environment, and you want to make sure the ozone is intact. And so you watch all those service commercials, and it's just so easy to sit back and react. Is it just melodrama for me to feel this way? I wonder, is it just me, or does it all sound so cliche? Does it sound that way? So cliche. I wonder, does it all sound so cliche? You give your money to so many causes, and still you struggle to pay off your own debts. You hope for world peace and ending the hunger, but will you ever do what no one has done yet? You train yourselves and prepare for the future, but each day the future takes on a new look. You might do better to look inside your own heart, and you might discover it's not in some law book. Is it just melodrama for me to feel this way? I wonder, is it just me, or does it all sound so cliche? Does it sound that way? So cliche, yeah. I
Yeah, you catch that? We want to live in a fat-free environment, and we want to make sure the ozone is intact. And so we watch all those service commercials, those public service announcements, and it's just so easy to sit back and react. And that's why I said, is it just melodrama for me to feel this way? Is it just me, or does it all sound so cliche? And it has become the norm. The cliche has become the norm. 25 years later, you just saw that in the headlines talking about fat-free environment and, how the environment is sickly for you and it's dangerous for you. You need to stay inside, take the drugs, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Doom and Gloom from the Rhyme and Reason Report here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I noticed that a lot of people have listened to my episodes. I get stats, and my past episodes, which there are 883 of them, are being listened to every day in multiple places around the world, and I don't take that lightly. That's a blessing. I'm honored that you're out there. Thanks for tuning in and sticking with me. I'll get to it and start making some more. As you can hear, my voice sounds fairly, I would say pretty clear, actually. I do have to deal with talking a certain way so I don't squeak when I breathe in and breathe out. That would be annoying. Hopefully none of that came through. So until next time, I forgot to mention that song, Cliche, of course, can be found in the Do Right Songbook Journal, which if you check show notes or go to TonyFunderburk.com or go to Amazon and look for my name, there are lots of ways to do this. You can get yourself a copy of this this songbook journal. And I can't say that it's going to help you build up your immune system, but, it might help you connect with the one who designed that system for you. That'd be a cool thing. Go get a copy today. Show your support for the Rhyme and Reason podcast, and if nothing else, jump on the bandwagon over at TonyFunderburk.com. And that's the sponsor of this show, TonyFunderburk.com. Thank you so much for being there. As always, remember, life has rhyme and reason because God made you.
There's a rhyme and reason for your life. There's a rhyme and reason why you're here. Give your time and season to the one